Hey guys. So the speech is how you can get everything you want. I'm a biopsychology major here at UCSB because I like understanding why we work the way we do. It's why we're attracted to what we're attracted to. And people fascinate me. So that's kind of the background, the kind of common theme to this, what I'm going to talk to you about today. And what I'm going to tell you today, are you guys all familiar with life hacks? Have you heard of that? Show of hands?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to kind of give you guys today. A couple life hacks, things that like go-to pieces of advice that I've received from my mom, from a professor here and there, and they're kind of the things that go-to rules that I come back to when I don't know what to do. So the first one is, who's heard of the golden rule that you should treat people the way you want to be treated?
Yeah.
Keep your hands up if you actually live your life like that, or try to. Don't stop. Please stop treating people the way you want to be treated. That's not how it should be. I urge you to instead treat people the way they want to be treated. Everybody wants different things. And if you're going to go ahead and live your life trying to give them what you want, you might not get the right reaction, the one you were expecting. They might not be as happy and appreciative about that. Because it's not what they wanted, it was what you wanted. So that's the first life hack that I want to share with you guys today. The second one is kind of to make us better people. We live in a world now where people can become celebrities from one day to the next, via YouTube, via SoundCloud, via multiple different ways, or even street performance. And the problem is that most people don't stop and give somebody a compliment. How many times, be honest, admit it, if you've gone onto a SoundCloud or some sort of like online track and you really liked it, but you didn't do anything, you didn't comment, you didn't click like, you didn't say, this is fantastic, thank you, you just made my day. Please do that. Invest yourself in the people that you believe in, and the tracks that you hear, and the ideas, and you don't need to get or want something out of it, but do it. And often you will get something out of it. For example, one of my friends, Sultan, he took the time to write a handwritten note to one of his professors because he wanted to thank them for how that teacher made him think in a different way. And he did it just to do it. And at the end of the story, that teacher actually wrote him back. He left the letter under their door, and he got a recommendation letter out of it. And that's going to help him. And it's somebody that's going to be his mentor, somebody that's going to be helping him. Oh, I'm a little better. But do that. Handwritten notes especially. I don't know if you know this, but one of the surveys that I read about in my psych classes is that if you have a post-it note on a document that you give to someone, they're more likely to read it and faster. So handwritten notes, they go a long way. That's the second life hack I have to share with you guys today. The third one, ask for help. When you figure out, a lot of people have been talking to you about figuring out what you want to do. What do you want to do in life? Figure out what your calling is. And when you do, that's fine, I'm not going to tell you how to figure that out. We're going to figure that out in weird ways. But when you do, ask for help to get there. Because getting to your end goal is kind of like a treasure hunt. You're going to get hints along the way, and each step will be a new hint. And when you ask for help, you're going to be either going to get the help you want, or they're going to tell you, can't help you, sorry, I don't have time. But most of the time, they're just going to point you in the right direction. And so that's why I say that getting to your goal is kind of like a treasure hunt, where each step of the way, you're going to get a new hint, you're going to get a new piece of advice, you're going to get a new person, and you'll get there. That's the third life hack I have for you guys. And something Cheyenne said yesterday in his speech, I don't know if he's here today. He was saying that, he went through months and months to make his website, and when he got there, finally, he looked at it and he thought, I could have been here in like a week. I can't believe that took me months. And don't get to your goal and think that you wasted your time, because it's going to take a lot longer the first time, but it's worth it. And when you find your goal and you're going for it, think of yourself as the pilot of your life. The same way there's a pilot for an airplane, and there's going to be turbulence. You're going to hit difficulties, but when you hit difficulties, you got to hold on. If the pilot of an airplane just let go when there was turbulence, we'd all crash and die. So when you hit difficulties in your life, hold on tight. Hold on tight and get through it, and then it's going to be smooth sailing from there on out. I keep looking back at this, and that's because with life hacks, it's kind of like a bunch of different ideas that I have for you guys. Hopefully you guys like this. All right. So getting what you want. this is the overarching rule, I think, for me. I learned it from a professor here called John Greathouse. It was great classes. Every time I leave his class, I'm just motivated. I just leave it and I'm like, God damn, I really want to do something with myself. But this is what he said. He said, getting what you want is fitting what you want into what somebody wants. You have to figure out how what you want, what you're asking somebody, and this goes for everything, will benefit them. If you want to get your roommate to go and do dishes, believe me, I've had a hard time getting my roommates to do dishes. Make it good. Sell to them something that they want. I know one of my roommates, if I had like a blender smoothie, I came home and there was a little music, I'm like, hey, let's do some dishes. You're like, okay, yeah, that sounds pretty chill. And that's how I got him to do dishes. And it took a while, it took years to get him to do dishes, but I figured it out. You gotta sell to them the way that they're gonna like it. He likes to clean house, he just doesn't like cleaning. So how are you going to fit what you want into what somebody wants? The only way to do that is to listen. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you got to spend twice as much time listening as you are talking. One of the problems that was highlighted to me, and it just kind of stuck with me, is how many of you guys have been in a conversation and you're just waiting for your chance to talk? And when the person is talking to you, all you're thinking about is what you're going to say next. Does this sound familiar to any of you guys?
Yeah.
Don't. Just stop and try to listen. And one of the tips I can give you guys to do that is your body language. If you're like this, and this is unconscious, usually, but it's going to be harder to listen to people. So open your body. That's one of the easiest ways. Point your feet in the direction of whatever you're interested in, or your knees if you're sitting, and focus and listen. Concentrate. If they're wasting time, next time don't listen. But the first time, just the same way you trust somebody when they say they're going to do something, listen, trust them. And so the thought I want to leave you guys with is, it can sound selfish to get everything you want, but you don't need it to be. You can use these rules, you can try to get what you want in life, but when you do, I urge you to pick your battles. That's the thought I want to leave you guys with today, is that you can't win everything. And even if you could, maybe you can win everything, you get everything you want, every situation, even if somebody else wants to do something else. You don't want to do that at the expense of the people you care about. So pick your battles and also pick the people that you're willing to sacrifice for, because you don't want to leave them in a state of bitterness. All right, thank you guys.
Sweet. All right. Well, hi everybody. My name is Corey Lau. You'll have to bear with me. I've been partaking in far too much revelry these past few days to fully catalog this whole entire talk to memory, but bear with me. I'm going to have to refer to the paper a little bit. I was actually really enjoying how Ben Joseph over there began his talk on stress and how to systemize your life, essentially. Particularly how he began it when he was talking about technology in relation to it being an unnatural, constant stressor. What I would like to talk about is kind of a follow-up to that and say that it's actually forcing us to evolve, since when we're under stress, naturally biological species evolve. So we begin. By nature, technology is an extension of our own biological capabilities. The knife improves upon the tactile ability of the hands. The bicycle multiplies the walking power of our feet, and the calculator expands the logical reasoning of our minds. The apes in Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, if you're familiar with that film, discovered technology through the form of bones, used as clubs, as extensions of the arms. And just like the apes turned violent by their weapons, technologies change the way we interact, and ultimately, our society. We now live in a society which expects most of us to carry internet-accessible devices with us at all times, harnessing everyone to the same network. We are hopelessly involved with our friends' lives on social networks. We feel naked without our cell phones. We store our most trusted archives of information on peer edited websites. Where before our society was dominated by the era of print, we have now entered the age of the screen. And this has undeniably resulted in our generation being more dependent on the rapid pace of informational intake that electronic media provides us with. On the speedy information highway of the internet, we have little patience for reading long-form copy. We'd rather bounce from one 140-character bit to the next. It is an instant gratification reward system, and now, as much research suggests, we are losing our ability to read more than a few sentences without losing interest. So new technology has started to reshape our culture, the very way we interact. Have we become what cultural theorist Marshall McLuhan would consider a global village in which the entire planet is united under under the intimacy of a small tribe? Maybe, maybe not yet. But of this we can be certain. We have started to enter also the age of the masses. Mass production, especially here in America, permeates our entire society. Not only are our goods and products industrialized, our media and culture are too. Just as multiple flavors of vitamin water are cranked off the conveyor belt, pop music is duplicated from previously created auditory patterns. Almost every pop song that has made the top 40 charts for the past 3 decades has had the same exact chord progression. Now, if I had enough time, I'd show you an amusing video actually that shows a comedy rock band demonstrating the past 40 pop songs, all with the same chord progression, but alas, my time is limited here. In cinema, stories have been told and retold so much that we've created a formula by which we can assemble a proper narrative structure. In fact, many neuroscientists have recently begun research to discover the perfect, quote-unquote, combination of colors, spoken lines, explosions, etc., to incite the greatest amount of pleasure in the brain, as though movies are to be used for a narcotic effect. This industrialization of our culture leads not only to conformity, but the commodification of culture as a field of capitalistic gain. Transitively, this renders you and I, the consumers, as a commodity, as an object. We partake in mindless consumption of our media, goods, and culture, and here's the weird part, we like it. However, as grim as our objectification may sound, if we examine this cultural dynamic from the point of view of an alien, for example, things look a tad different. What are we complaining about, really? Commodifying our society essentially leads to a most utilitarian existence, where we have become increasingly skilled at satisfying our needs and wants via streamlined discouragement of inputs and outputs. The pre-programmed set of visual sequences I mentioned before in films are not as much a story as they are a piece of candy. And if they satisfy us, what's the problem? The harm, in the eyes of many, is the rapid loss of older human culture. There exists massive generation gaps in our age. Technology has changed at a rate too fast for all members of our society to keep up with it. And because technology shapes us as well, our culture has shifted with it. Our current society, built on the written word, demonizes the new media which threatens to change it. Undeniably, this pattern is observable in our culture. Our parents and grandparents, the widely electronically illiterate generation, scold us for texting at the table or telling us that our TV is going to rot our brain. A gap indeed. Now, if the law of entropy, which states that things only increase in complexity, holds true, things must then eternally change and often at exponential rates. Our species is a very interesting one in how we change. Normally, a species evolves based on outside forces in their environment. We, however, exercise such control over our environment that we have started to evolve ourselves, and this is through our technological domination of the environment. Technology in the form of houses, cars, clothes, computers, farms, etc. Every technological advance increases our control of the environment, and our environment then evolves us. Before farming, humans depended on hunting and foraging for small quantities of food to survive. The strong, the fast, and the smart won out. It became an understood part of human culture then that one must hunt and search for food. Then came farming. Now think about it for a second. Can you sustain yourself for a week without eating the food provided by others? It's kind of a difficult thing to do, to be honest. But we have evolved, both culturally and to a degree physically, since one needs to use physically to the hunting any longer, to not need to work for our own food. So, if we've been going through this process of technological advancement and evolution of both our culture and ourselves for ages now, what's the big deal with the changes we're seeing today? As mentioned before, technology has shifted our culture so quickly over the recent generations, at an exponential rate, arguably, that our grandparents can barely relate to many of us. Proponents of the past argue that art is no longer, but is it art altogether that's disappearing? Or is it their version of art? Is it their magic that's disappearing, or magic overall that's disappearing with this technological advance? We're evolving into a more efficient species, it appears. We have industrialized things which take care of our basic needs, and in the process, former forms of art and culture have been lost. But new forms will likely emerge and be more complex as the law of entropy necessitates. Remember, we shape our tools, and our tools shape us. But if we evolve our tools and they us, what are we? Are we the tools of our tools? A question to consider indeed. Have a happy Cinco de Mayo.
Hi guys, how's it going? Good. So I'd like to first point out that Corey definitely hit a point that was very important with the age that we live in. We today have, with widespread technology and digital connectivity to pretty much everyone here, we have the ability to unlock potential that has never been before seen. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Imgur, we have Reddit. But I think a lot of people don't necessarily consider it a tool. I think every single person here has intuitions of what they want to do in life, these changes that you may want to make, these ideas that you might want to fulfill. But I think a lot of people don't necessarily consider the internet as a tool for seeing and realizing the potential that we as a community can harness. There is, for instance, a website called Foldit that used chemistry, game design, and coded it into a website that allowed people to experiment with protein folding. And within, I believe, the first 3 years, they made an advance in deciphering the retrovirus. I'm not terribly familiar with chemistry, with one of the retroviruses that helped cause AIDS, essentially pushing the research forward 10 years. And this is something that has stumped PhDs, masters, just the entire traditional field for years. And I think the theme or overarching message of that, and as well as a lot of other things, if you look at Kickstarter or anything like that, you will see that the internet can be used as a tool for sourcing every single one of you. People that you may not know exist, people that you've never met, who may have a skill set that can contribute to you and your goals, that you may not be in contact with and may not have any other way of contacting without it. If we look at, Kickstarter, for instance, a lot of bands nowadays, with the way music has been revolutionized and entertainment in general through the use of the internet, they're now turning to their fans. They're turning to people who maybe don't feel like buying music. You might pirate music. I know I do. A lot of people don't necessarily pay for entertainment in the same ways anymore. However, you do create value, and it's in a very different way. There are people that fund Kickstarters, and you might not even have to pay for it. You might not even want to donate. But if you spread the word, does that still create value? If you, for instance, write a review about a restaurant that you went to, does that still create value for them? It's a certain type of advertising, but we don't necessarily look at it that way. So I challenge every single one of you to think about what you want to do in life and to think about the tools that you have available to you. And then look at the internet and say, there are people out there that have similar goals, that have similar ideas that I'm currently not connected to. Put yourself out there, put your ideas out there, and try to find the communities that don't exist yet for what you want to do in your life. That's it.
Thanks everyone. So as I've said, my name is Allie Guffey. I'm a second year sociology and psychology double major here at UCSB. I love playing tennis. I am petting adorable puppies, and I'm a certifiable chocoholic. And on top of all of that, I love volunteering. Just here at UCSB, we started the program this year. Yesterday we had 30 volunteers assemble about 200 sack lunches that we then drove down and donated to Casa Esperanza. We're still in the pilot phase, so 200 meals compared to 35,000 pounds. We're still working on it, but it's a really incredible program that I'm really grateful and excited to be bringing to this campus. So innovation can be used in ways that really benefit not only yourself, but the community as a whole. So I've kind of like 3 different steps that I'd like to impart on you all of ways that you can do things like this to really benefit your community. The first one would be to really explore your resources. Know what's available to you and how you can best utilize them. For me, the Community Affairs Board is like an incredible resource for volunteering. Anything under the sun, anything you want to do, you name it, we have a way to get you involved with that. So no matter what it is you want to do, I highly encourage you to explore what's already out there. You don't need to start your own organization to make something happen. You can use what's out there to kind of work with what you want to achieve. The second would be to set some goals for yourself. Set some accomplishments that you want to achieve. In terms of volunteering, set a goal for what you want to impart onto your community and what you hope to get out of that experience. And thirdly, and for me the most important, is to make a connection. because for volunteering especially, I think the most rewarding part about it is really getting to know those people you're working with on a personal level, really connecting with them and seeing the difference that you're making. Big or small, it doesn't matter, just make sure you're making that connection. And before I finish, I just want to leave you all with a quote that I find very powerful by Martin Luther King Jr. It says, "Everyone can be great because everyone can serve." And I truly believe in that, and if you all put yourselves out there and you want to make a difference in this community, you can by giving back. Thank you all so much, and have a great day.
I've noticed that we all share two things in common. The first is, of course, that most of us are entrepreneurial, and we're ambitious, we're extremely driven. And the second thing is that we're all in college, or at least graduated college. And at this point, I want to ask you all a very honest question, and I want you to give me an honest answer. How many of you feel that your college experience, your classes, in your lectures, get in the way of what you're trying to do, of your ambitions, your goals? It's a lot of you, right? Well, I don't think we need to avoid this wide elephant in the room anymore. I don't think anybody in this room would rather be writing their 8-page Chicano studies paper than writing their business plan. And now listen, a bachelor's degree is extremely valuable and extremely rewarding, and we should be proud of it. And I'm not trying to be controversial or make a political statement here. But there seems to be a fact here that we need to come to grip with. And this fact should concern us, it concerns me, and it really concerns the next generation. And I hate to say it, but our college degrees are losing their value. Yes, all those all-nighters, last-minute study sessions, they may not pay off. And this is not just my opinion, guys. I will read to you the following passage from a column in the Washington Post from a few years ago. While more Americans are graduating from college and more than ever are applying for admission, far fewer are leaving higher education with the skills needed to comprehend routine data. For example, like reading a table between the relationship between blood pressure and physical activity. This is according to a federal study that also found that only 31% of college graduates could be classified as proficient in reading and writing basic prose. And this is all according to the National Center for Education Statistics. Now, I'm not up here to try and answer why this problem has evolved. We have way too many issues, as we talked about in this weekend, on our hands that we need to solve, and way too much progress to make, that there's just not enough time to figure out why this is happening. Or maybe just another weekend to talk about it, I don't know. But our country has a 9% unemployment rate for college grads. 31% of these grads are forced to move back in with their parents, and those that are lucky enough may get a job at your local Starbucks. Now, I know this is extremely depressing for being the last lunchtime talk, but...
You're not the last one.
I'm what?
You're not the last one.
Oh, I'm not? Okay. I'm not that special, I guess. I simply just wanted to convince you what my goal is here with this talk, and why I corrected Hannah there. Why we need to take full advantage of your greatest asset in college and after college. And it's something that is so often ignored, but it's so obvious. And I'm talking, of course, about free time. It used to be the case when our parents went to college that a bachelor's degree is what separated you from the rest of the pack. And what you majored in is what made you unique and employable in that particular field. But with college being so much easier and more students being able to graduate with a degree, college has now become the new high school. The one thing that we have in college that we didn't have in high school is free time. But we are so oblivious to it now. A 2007 study from the Association of American Colleges and Universities found that only 16% of students' time is spent studying or in class or lab. What are we doing with the rest of our time? According to that same study, 51% is responsible for socializing and recreation. And that's great, and I'm not saying that, we shouldn't do that. But we need to take advantage of our free time by mastering those skills and by starting your businesses now. And I know a lot of you have done that, and I want to just clarify here that this talk is not for anybody in this room. This is a problem for our generation. I want to just bring up something here. Think about the size of this conference right now. What does this conference have to offer? entrepreneurship talks, networking, incredible keynote speakers. Why aren't there more people here? This is just a sign of what's going on in our generation, and a sign of how lazy we are. And it's a problem that we really need to convey to everybody when we go back. We need to encourage people to start to practice those skills, like Lex Cisney was talking about, find their genius, and to go back and to use their free time to the best of their ability. And I'm a man who doesn't like to beat around the bush. I like to be honest, and that's why I'm talking about this today. But in the aggregate, we are perhaps the laziest generation our world has seen. We keep telling ourselves, I'm so busy with all my classes and coursework. Anybody who is in college who tells you that they're too busy, I want you to honestly tell them, you're not busy. You could be doing so much more. How is it possible that we have so much technology at our disposal that we are busier than any of the generations before us? Ladies and gentlemen, life is easier for us than it has ever been, especially in the Western world. We simply just make poor decisions. So when anybody tells you, I didn't do it because I didn't have enough time, I want us all to start saying to ourselves and to other people, no, you didn't do it because you didn't have enough time, you just didn't succeed. And that's fine. And Jacques was talking about that yesterday. He said, we need to accept failure and not see it as a negative thing. So we need to tell ourselves, no, I didn't succeed. Not that I didn't have enough time, because we have enough time, and that's why we need to take advantage of it. We're literally surrounded by toys. We're distracted. Everywhere we turn, there's something to distract us. But think about how much we could accomplish if we didn't post those pictures of our meals at Denny's. It's unbelievable how easily entertained we are, but we cannot forget why we all came here this weekend. We cannot forget about our passions, and we must devote more of our free time towards these passions and mastering our skills. We must find our genius, as Lex Cisney said yesterday. If we don't take full advantage of the free time that we have, whether it's in college or while working the part-time job after college, then everything that we accomplish this weekend will go to waste. This is my call to all of you to make this weekend a starting point. Go back to school. Use your free time to distinguish yourselves from the rest. Go start planning your business now and make your passion your new distraction. And I can guarantee that you will reap the rewards. And I want you to convey this message to everybody else who is a part of the next generation as well. I want to conclude here with a request. Even though I was talking a lot of trash in college, please do graduate, okay? But when you walk in your graduation ceremony, make sure that you have accomplished something to be proud of. Finally, here's a list of some people who never received a bachelor's degree. Abraham Lincoln, Florence Nightingale, Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, Jackie Onassis, Yoko Ono, Theodore Roosevelt, J.K. Rowling, Steve Wozniak, Frank Lloyd Wright, and Bill Gates, and of course, the great Keanu Reeves. Thank you, everybody.
We grew the Entrepreneur Society at SDSU from about 10 members to over 100, a little less than a year. And so we just wanted to spread that with you guys because some of you went up to us and said, oh, you got a big crew that came down, and we got that from a few people. So, if the customer wants it, we'll deliver.
Yeah, so we just wanted to break it down for you guys exactly how we did it. The first thing that you guys need to know if you're growing an organization or even a business is to use your network. So we provided a lot of value to our customers right off the start with the polos. We did business cards, and we did watches as well. And we got all that stuff. We got over $100 worth of stuff for $25 just by asking around, utilizing the people that we know. And now Volcom gets their logo on all this stuff, and we paid $7 for that shirt, their cost. So number one, definitely use your network. Number two, everybody's been talking about it. Social media, it's there. You need to use it. Not only did we grow from 10 to over 100 members, but our Facebook page grew from 600 likes to over 1,100 in 9 months. So how we did that, 3 posts a day, every day. Keep it fun, keep it interesting. We made Facebook events for every single event that we had. So just keep interacting, letting people know what's going on. And then another thing that we just started this semester, we call it Motivational Monday. You can call it whatever you want. My mom started one, she called it What's Up Wednesdays. So what we do every Monday, we don't miss a Monday. We'll post a video. We start off with a quote, and then we go into what's up for the week and what's coming up and what everybody has to look forward to. And that kind of keeps the interaction going and gets people motivated. And surprisingly, like I would have been stoked with 10 people watching these videos, but we get over 100, 200 views each week, which is incredible. And I think we'll show you guys one here, and then Alex is going to talk about all the guerrilla marketing that we did to really grow this.
Right. We don't go that before.
No doubt. Okay, so yeah, we'll just keep going. If you guys want to check it out, go to our Facebook page, Entrepreneur Society. So facebook.com/Entrepreneur Society. Every Monday, we got a video for you. So actually, this next week, we're doing kind of like user-generated content. So one of our members actually sent in a video, and we're going to be posting that instead of us doing it. So Alex, you want to talk about the guerrilla marketing?
Yeah. So for guerrilla marketing, you might be asking, what is that, or what do you do for that? So we have events about every Wednesday or every other Wednesday. And what we do for that is we print out 2,000-3,000 flyers about yay big of the event, location, time. We also make pretty big posters as well. And what we do on Monday of the week of the event, we go out around campus around 8 or 9 a.m. before everyone's in their classes. And what we do is we just open up the door, go into class, and we just put all the flyers on all the desks. We go through a few thousand in one day. And so we just put those in all the colleges. We post our posters up. We spam the effing school, to be honest with you. Just there. If I get one person from that, I'm freaking happy. That's one more person's life that we can affect, one more person that we can help on their entrepreneurial journey. So I'm stoked with that, and we get a lot of people from that. We go into all the rooms too. We tag the whiteboards, do Entrepreneur Society, put your Facebook name, everything like that. Just generate a buzz, get people talking. And then also it's fun too. You do it with members of your society. You get to talk to them. Did it with Thomas the other day. Got to learn about him. But you get a mesh and gel with people in your organization. Become closer as an organization. Get more people to your events, and it's a really fun way to get away from the social media. Like, this guy's an expert. I'm not too good at it, so I can just use my expertise and pass these things out.
So along that note, if you guys are doing something, so we're talking about growing a student organization, but if it's a business, if it's anything that you guys are stoked on, you're basically doing somebody a disservice if you don't let them know about it. Because one more person, whether it's like that saying, what's the worst thing that they can say is no, So get out there and tell them about it, and if they show up, you change their life. That's one person's life that you can change. So don't be afraid to tell people about what you're doing and why you're happy that you're doing it. Anything else? All right, cool. Thank you guys.
So I gotta go quick because we only got 4 speeches left. First off, I'm trying to coin a brand name, being on average. So coming up here, I'm your on average show. From that response, it kind of felt average. And I don't know, I'm trying, I think all of you guys are on average. Try not to be like normal. Try not to be the same as everyone else. Be different, be unique, be extraordinary. No one in this world is special. Pretty much no one in this world is special. You guys, whatever you do, whatever your passion is, whatever you want to do, you don't deserve anything. You make your life. Don't be scared. I'm going to touch on a couple of things now real quick about what other people talked about. I'm sorry, I should be using the microphone, huh? You guys hear me? Is that okay? Cool. All right. For instance, you came here tonight. You didn't have to come here tonight. It was a left or right decision. You might be someone who changed your life, you might not. So the fact that you guys are here is huge. And I think that that's one thing a lot of people get scared of, get nervous. They think, oh, I'm too tired. I can't do it. I want to go home. You're here and you're making a difference. So continue to do that and try to actually tell other people that as well. Like really spread that message. So I'm just going to go on a couple of things right now about being healthy. Touch on a couple of things like what Ben said about stress. I think one thing that's really changed my life recently is I don't like to get stressed anymore. It doesn't help, it's not productive. Donald Trump had a great quote, I'm not going to quote it perfectly, but he said that when something really bad happened, lost a lot of money, And the media started crushing him. They're like, "Are you worried about this? Aren't you like freaking out that you're gonna lose all this money?" He's like, "I don't have time to worry about things. Like, I need to fix this problem. It's a big one." So I think trying to apply it to your everyday lives. We're all college students. A couple of problems that a lot of people stress out about are school. You know, if you're stressed out about school, then do something. I mean, you have to study a little more. Go talk to someone about your stress. Like, meet up with someone. Create what they were talking about earlier with the triangle. If you surround yourself with good people that want to help you, and you share that same passion with them, then they'll decrease your stress like crazy and just make everything more productive. Another one, like if you have relationships, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend problems, you got a fight with a friend, probably over drinking or something like that, usually is the case. If that's the case, then surround yourself with people that aren't going to do that to you. Like, there's a million people in this world, you know, you meet someone one day, they hurt your feelings, well, forget that. Like, they don't deserve to be in your network, they don't deserve to be a contact of yours, they don't deserve to be someone you should be like hanging out with. You know, find someone else, because like, especially here, these events, these are the people that have that passion and that drive, and these are the people you guys should all be meeting. So I highly recommend, if you haven't met everyone here yet, including myself, meet everyone, because everyone's got a story. At least hear them for like 2 minutes or something. Finally, if you have business, say you're working on business, you're really stressed out about that. If that's the case, then find someone who shares your passion with you. Don't do it alone. It's too hard. No entrepreneurs have done it alone. It's impossible. You have to leverage some resource at some time. So don't be stressed out about that. Just find people that share your passion and want to help you. And then you won't be stressed. And you'll be productive. So now, real quick, just about myself. I'll try to go really quick so everyone else can go. I'm a kinesiology major at San Diego State. I'm in the Entrepreneur Society with Brian and Alex. Those guys are awesome. They've grown that organization and given me and a lot of other students at State the chance to be who we are and to really excel in entrepreneurship. I also run a martial arts club at State. Talk about your passion. I love martial arts. It's something that I've always enjoyed. I found someone who shared that passion with me. We got together. We made an organization. And now we're affecting the lives of other people, teaching them self-defense. On that note, I'd just like to do one real quick thing. If you're ever in a situation where you feel like you might get injured, instead, pepper spray, have a knife, something to protect yourself with, don't underestimate the eye poke. It's amazing. And a lot of people think they're like the water boy guy, where he does the Captain Insano, shows no mercy, eye poke with 2 fingers. Don't do that. Just take your entire hand, all 5 fingers, and just flick them forward as fast as you can. And naturally, because your eye sockets, fingers will ramp in to the eyes, and you only need to hit one. I mean, if you're ever going it hurts like hell. So don't worry about like actually trying to get them. Like, you just gotta get one. So on that note, I'd just like to end it with a couple of things. What I've said today, it didn't come from me in a second. I didn't learn how to become who I am today. It's been a series of steps, and it's been a lot of practice that's gotten me. So don't try to be someone you're not. Just keep working every day. Write things down. I like to say live with intention. Write down your goals, monthly, weekly, yearly, 5 years out. You're going to make $1 billion. I mean, maybe not, but if you have it written down, you have direction, you have something to follow. So I'm just going to leave it with one of my favorite quotes from a great man, my father. He basically said there's 2 rules in life that you have to follow. Do good shit and don't be a dick. Thank you.
What I came to talk about, I saw this TED Talk, and I'll introduce myself in a minute. I saw this TED Talk, and it talked about, we're so focused on how businesses operate. And so how should we operate a business? Is it what the business is doing? Or is it how the business is doing it? Or is it why the business is doing it? And there was a TED Talk done by an individual, his name is Simon, what was that?
Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek, thank you. Simon Sinek, and he basically talked about that. He talked about how business operates. Most operate on the what level? What our business does. We do this. We have this product. We have these types of things. How the business, they go to the next level. How business operates. Well, we use these types of things to accomplish what we do. But little focus on why do we do. It's a lifestyle. It's something that, that I love to do. It's those types of things. And those are the things that will get you really successful. I want to take that and I kind of put it in my own kind of train of thought, I would say. And I take that to networking. I can come up here and I can talk to you about what is networking, right? I can come up and talk to you about how to network. We've heard all those types of things. But, you know, I want to talk to you about why do we network? What is the purpose of networking? Because that's another interesting thing that, you know, I feel like there should be a lot more discussion on why are we networking. So the way that I'm going to do that is through a story. I talked to 4 different individuals who were at my workshop. We talked about this, so this might be a little repetition for you. But, so let's take 3 different entrepreneurs. One of them is a fisherman, the other is a salesperson, and the other one is a boat operator, right? Everybody following me? Yeah? Basically, they're all in the business of trying to get fish so they can sell it to the town. So say for instance, if your concept about networking was about, you know, well, I just want to make money, I want to make as much money as I can, and I'm going to do it however way I can, and I'm going to just make it happen that way, right? Say for instance, if each of those individuals did it on their own, so they, you know, the boat operator, he's like, I'm going to go buy a fishing pole, I'm going to get the boat, and I'm going to sell it all for myself, right? What is he lacking? The boat technician, he doesn't know how to fish. He probably don't even know how to sell, but he's going to try his hardest. He might sell a couple of fish, okay, yeah, that's cool. The fisherman, you know, he might know how to use the boat, but he's probably just been out there kind of like on the cliff fishing that way. But, you know, he might not know how to get back to the, he might be stranded out there. Or if he does get back by luck, he might not be selling any fish because he's not a salesperson. The salesperson won't be able to get off the shore, okay? So, you know, the whole thing about why we network is how can we get everybody that we can get together to get the most optimal and efficient results? That's what I want to talk about. So how can you meet that boat driver? How can you meet that salesperson if you're this fisherman? And how can you say, okay, you have a boat, I can fish, you can sell. There's this town. We're gonna go out, you know the waves, you know everything, I know where the fish are. I'm the fish, we're gonna put it in here, we're gonna come back, you're the sales expert, let's get it together, you know? That's what I want to talk about, because that's the key to networking. And I think through my experience, now this is when I introduce myself. My name is Brandon James. I'm a UCSB alumnus. I also work as an assistant resident director here at Santa Rosa Residence Hall. And I have my own video production company, which is Creates Relay Productions or C2R Productions. And so basically what I want to touch on is that why part. If you're doing anything that you're doing, it's about that why reason. You know, why are you doing it? Because if it gives you a whole nother creative path. Because the person who is fixated on money and how much money I'm going to make, it's going to be harder for them to reach that money. So if the fisherman is just fixated on how he's going to make so much money off of these fish, and he's going to go get this boat and all of that stuff, it's going to be harder for him, and he's probably not going to be successful. But if you surround yourself with people who have that same notion that it's not about the money right now, so we're going to come together, we're going to figure out how we can make this system, and then we're all going to benefit at the very end. And then we're all going to be selling this fish, however the process is. That's where that happens. So take that same type of analogy, take it into your life. What is your fisherman trade? You know, mine is video. I do video production. So who do I surround myself with? What can I not do? What is my boat that I can't drive, you know? Those types of things, I want you to really think about those things, because then you will have a whole lot more of a gauge of how to be successful through your networking and doing everything in that type of a way. So I would like to end with that, and hopefully that you all take this Next Generation Summit seriously. I wish it was something like this when I was in school, and you know, really network and have a good time. So yeah, have a good one.